had a sell right here. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, our software alerts you when these lines appear on your chart. We call these manipulation lines. The manipulation analysis is based on the 5-minute time frame. And this right here is the zone where you have a green line and a red line. So this is what it looks like. I'll show you how we're currently trading these. Very simple system, very high risk to reward, very fast trading opportunities. So anything below the red line on a sell is considered bearish, and then anything above the green line would be considered a shift of analysis where we'd start to consider the 1-minute chart bullish. So when you have your setup, the most realistic way to trade this is to take your entry at the first candle that closes away from the manipulation zones in the favor of the trade, right? So we see red candles. That's a special analysis that the software is doing. You want to see, if you're going to take the sell, you want to see the momentum table up here in the corner to also be red. It's going with the current momentum of the 4-hour chart. And then we're also looking at manipulation on the 5-minute time to create this zone right here. And there's a lot more going on, but you can see there's some really sophisticated, very clever analysis built into the software. Now, these lines appear on the chart in real time. So right when this candle was forming, this doji candle, that's when these lines are gonna appear and start alerting you. So this probably sent an alert to your phone at the close of this candle here. I wouldn't get in on that candle, but I would get in on this candle. So my actual entry would be more like right here with my stop loss there. I use a soft stop loss, meaning I don't even put a hard stop loss line. If you do, I would give yourself a little bit of room because of spread. But the reason I don't use a hard stop loss is because sometimes it could wick through that level and then still continue in the direction of the trade. I'm closely monitoring the trade the whole time. So I feel safe doing that myself. But this was the first trade of the day. And you can see this is already, I mean, just, I just randomly put the size here. It's showing a 4.62 RR, which means that this setup right here in about 15 minutes would have profited you over 4 times whatever your risk was. So like, let's say you risk 1% of your equity. Like, let's say you have a $10,000 account and you're going to risk $100. Okay, the profit would have been about $462 on a total risk of $100, right? Now, your trading plan, that's up to you, right? Like however you choose to trade. Me personally, I scalp 1 to 2s all the time. I think 1 to 2 risk to reward is really solid for me. So my take profits are up here. And that's kind of funny. I'm gonna increase my risk to reward targets because this software, it's so incredible that there's no reason to keep cutting myself short. I've traded 1 to 2 risk to reward for a long time, but I'm gonna increase that now. I mean, look at the 1 to 2 was so fast. It was like 10 minutes, boom, right? Just extending that another 10 minutes, would have quadrupled the risk to reward. No problem, right? So anyways, that's the first trade of the day. That was at 4 in the morning for those of you that are available to trade London. Now, there's no way that you can look at this and not think that this is awesome. Look at how price flushed down after getting the signal sent to your system. Price started to find support. You could see we had a change in candle color trend where the 1 minute went bullish here. And then it went bearish again, flushed down. And then the software detected another incoming manipulation zone to flush down again. Look at the placement of these manipulation lines. There was actually 2 different trades right there. This is the exact reason why I don't use a hard stop loss. So let's zoom in on that. Okay, so there's two different sets of manipulation zones right here. If I were to draw these for you real quick, you could see here's one, that's the green line connected to this red line. And then the other one is this green line connected to this red line right there. Sorry for the crooked drawings. That's okay, right? I'm a trader. I'm not an artiste. Okay, but you can see that on the first trade, that kind of wick through. You had a little bit of a candle closure above that right there. I wouldn't close my trade for I wouldn't take a loss right there because you're still underneath these wicks right here, and that's a protected zone. So I would still be waiting, right? The very first candle, you get a closure right here. The very first candle would have wicked and then closed down here. You're back in profit right there. But either way, you got two opportunities. Okay, the first set of manipulation lines got wicked through. The second set of manipulation lines remained protected. Okay, so for me personally, I'm very fair. I'm calling both of these winners. But if you want to be like super perfect, exact, then you could say one was a loser and one was a winner, right? And again, whatever your trading plan is. I mean, it doesn't matter what if you're trading 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, you would have smacked all of those. I mean, this thing, let's see, peaked out on that move there. I mean, that's a 1 to 11. I don't call that realistic because I don't know anybody who actually wins 1 to 11 RR. But anyways, those were winners right there, right? So for me, I'm like 3 for 3. I didn't take these, by the way, because I was asleep. That's why. Okay, I don't trade that early usually. But we're just looking at what happened today. These are real trades, non-repainting. This is really, what you see is what you get. Here's the next setup. You could see another awesome winner. I probably wouldn't have traded that one, but I probably would have went for this one right here. Okay, so zooming in, what I'm looking for is one candle away from the zones. So the zone appeared on these candles right here on the closure of this candle when price was still right here. That's when this would have alerted your phone. And this was the first candle that kind of closed away from the zone. So my entry would have been right there at the closure with soft stopped right there with a little bit of room for spread, right? Another really awesome trade. I've never seen a system deliver like this ever. It's very impressive to me, guys. Very impressive. I can't say that enough. The setups are tight. The entries are fast. The consistency is there. Okay. You could pass your prop firms with the system. You could make money with the system. There's no reason not to. Now, this right here was a bearish manipulation zone that would have flat out, right when you got in, boom, that would have lost. You do not want to stay in a trade when the candle officially turned color. Like, see how we were red and then it turned green. Okay. Strong closure above the manipulation zone and changed color. You do not want to be holding on to a sell. The system's designed to protect you and to keep your losses very, very small. So that means that if you traded that like that, in fact, your entry would have been down here. That would have went straight to stop loss, just right there, boom, like within 3 minutes. Okay, that would have tagged you out. You'd have closed like about right there. Okay. Now the rule, because I don't think I covered this last time in a way that was real simple to understand. Let me move the zoom menu out of the way. There we go. The rule is you can trade manipulation lines in both directions as long as the higher time frame momentum is in your favor. So we use this table up here in the top right. That's what we use to determine if it's in our favor or not. Now I have an extra indicator that I'm using right now to just verify because we just added this feature this weekend, which, by the way, guys, my developer already fixed the lag that TradingView has on this table. So this table can take a little while to update. And so we have to refresh our charts. I just got the new files of this now. It updates in real time, like to the second it updates, so that you can be confident in the color that you're seeing. Because right now we have to refresh our charts, every so often to make sure that that color display is correct. So that's awesome. That was a really good news for myself. This right here, I'm going to turn these on. You could see it brings up this big backdrop of this massive candle. That's the 4-hour candle. I just have an indicator showing the higher time frame candles right there. We would not have taken a buy right there because this 4-hour momentum would have still been red. Okay. Now check this out. Okay. Now I'm going to pull out my Kleenex and I'm going to shed a little tear because this is why I took this buy and I got stopped out this morning. Total bummer. It's okay. I have to stick to the system, but I was in a buy. I really sensed NASDAQ going long. For those of you that pay attention to the news, President Trump was speaking at this time, and he was just going through the highlights of his presidency and of the economy. And at the same time, you started to see NASDAQ find some really strong support. And at that same time, you started to see gold started to finally cool off. So his speech was basically rebalancing out the momentum that we've been seeing all week. And I saw NASDAQ really going high. And so I got into a long right here, basing it off of these manipulation lines. And then when that candle turned red, I closed, right? And I knew, I'm like, you know what? This thing's probably going to go back up. But I've learned my lesson a million times that when you have rules, stick to your rules. I was just talking to my cousin Jesse, who's on the call here with us. We were just chatting about that today. Okay. Being a profitable trader, a big part of it is having discipline that when your rules say, hey, this is a losing trade, close it. You have to close it. And I was telling him how the first couple of years of being a trader, I was tempted to hold on to those trades because of situations just like this, where it's like right when you close, literally I closed at the bottom of that damn red candle, knowing that it's probably going to find support after that, right? I closed right here, guys. I closed a buy, okay? My buy was right here. That's where I got in. So it was a little loss, no big deal, but still I stuck to my rules. I'm proud of myself for taking that loss because I know that with that type of decision making, my equity is protected. And in trading, making money is secondary to the number one rule, the first priority, which is, can you guys, this one I'm going to go to the chats. Can you guys tell me in the chats, if making money is priority number 2, can you guys tell me what priority number 1 is? Yeah. Okay. My wife. Yeah. My wife is my number 1, but as it relates to just trading, yeah, Liseth, Chris, correct. Ding, ding, ding. Protecting capital. The first couple of years of me trading live accounts, I would get myself into trouble all the time because my brain would say, oh, you're supposed to close that trade. And then my temptation and my greed and my fear and my pride and all those other crazy things, right? They would start to flare up and say, oh, but what if it comes back? And then what would have been a tiny little loss gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you go, dang it, I should have just closed right when the candle turned red. Ugh, I should have just closed, right? I'd rather take a little tiny loss than now having to deal with this drawdown. Okay, that's a toxic cycle and it leads to all kinds of other consequences, right? Where now you're emotionally attached to your trade, you're stressed out. You shouldn't be stressed out, but you are because you're holding on to a trade you shouldn't be holding on to. And now you just want relief, right? Especially if you're trading a live account, I would just want emotional relief. And then when it gets back to break even, or if it was grew into a huge loss, either way, I just had to close it. And then I totally miss out on the opportunities to win. Okay, so with all that being said, I took an L right here. And then I did not take this trade when it went back up because I was a little bit ticked off right here. And it made me like hesitate. And once this candle already went up and started to find support, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna chase it. So if it would have came up and came back down one more time and then found support, I probably would have gotten back in. But I missed that run up. So just being super transparent with you guys. No big deal. I had a profitable day, so it's okay. This right here is the one that Bobby caught. Bobby's been on fire. Seriously, shout out to Bobby. I don't know if he's on tonight's call again, but he has been trusting the software, being consistent, taking the trades, following the system, and just absolutely crushing it. So now we come back into a whole bunch of back-to-back wins right here. There's actually 3 different trades called out right here, with this being the most protected low. This is the next protected low. This is the next protected low. That all just went way up. Super solid trades, guys. So if you're keeping track with me, okay, I've been showing you all the trades from today. You have winner, 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 the first loss. Okay, 4 wins, 1 loss. 2 losses. You could add 3 more winners right here. So that'd be 7 winners, 2 losses. And then up here, this one lost. So can someone do the math for me? What are we at? Okay, I'll help you out. 7 wins, 3 losses. And all the winners were high risk to reward. Like they were not 1-to-1s. They were like 1-to-3s, 1-to-5s, 1-to-7s, right? You could have a really healthy risk to reward trading plan and totally crush it. So let's say you're only doing 1-to-2 risk to reward. Okay, on these setups. Tell me in the chat, you're doing 1-to-2 risk to reward. You had 7 winners and 3 losses. What was your total risk to reward result for the day? Can you guys do the math? I want people to learn on these calls. I want you to see the power of what we built. Okay, so look, 7. Look at that. Darius is fast. Darius already put the answer. That's 11R. Okay, so if you win 7 trades and each one is a 2R result, which means you're winning twice as much as your risk, 7 times 2 is 14. That's 14R. But then you had 3 losers. Each loss is minus 1R. So now you take 14, you minus 3, that gives you 11. Okay, so that means if you would have traded from 4 in the morning till about noon, you would have made 11R on your trades if you would have executed with perfection. Okay, that means if you would have risked 1%, you would have made 11% gain. Tara, who I don't know if she's on the call either. I have my charts up. I'm not looking at the Zoom too much here, but Tara made 16% today. So we're starting to see some things that I've never seen before. This is like our breakout here. Seriously, it's really starting to come together, guys. The only time I've ever seen someone make that kind of gain on their account is they're being very wild and reckless, and no one's doing that. Like these are incredible results coming in without being wild and reckless. Now, a bragging moment for myself here. Okay, now I get to brag. I took this short right here. This was my best trade of the day today. Right there, boom, that candle turned red. And I took that short right there. And I traded it down to 200 points. So right there. I took that today. That was awesome. So why did I take this trade? Okay, I'll show you guys something. If you guys were on our live trading call with Ryan Resnick, he was talking about a rebalance. Okay, if I pull back up the other HTF candle indicator that I have, okay, what happened was you had a huge push up on this 4-hour candle, and then the next candle also had a huge push up. The market was overbought at that time. It was very imbalanced. I mean, you could just see this massive run up here. In those conditions where price is very inefficient, and what does that mean, inefficient? Inefficient price is this right here. This is inefficient. It shoots way up, has a little bit of a pit stop, and then it shoots way up again. That's inefficient. Okay, efficient price is like this. This is efficient, like that. Okay, where it keeps coming back for all the retests. But if you have inefficiency, then you can expect a rebalance. Once there's confirmation in place, you can trade against the momentum, because momentum swings. Okay, so when this turned red, I looked at all these imbalances here, all the way down to this pocket. Hello, right? Remember that, the pocket gap? I saw this huge imbalance and I took a sell. I put my stop loss right there. I actually did a hard stop loss and I walked away from the computer. And I set it and forget it. And then about, I don't know, 30 minutes later or something, I just came back to check and I looked at my phone, I looked at the charts and I said, yes. It was really cool because if you guys want to kind of relive the moment with me, it was kind of like this. This is what my chart looked like. I didn't have the panel on there. My chart just looked like this. When I came back to check on it, I saw this and I was like, and it was off the charts. It was lower. And I was like, oh my gosh, we had a dump. Like price just melted. How far did it go down? And I checked 200 points, totally smashed that trade. So anyways, I'm telling you guys, you can take those trades when the market is very imbalanced. So we were very imbalanced to the upside. So when you're going off of strong green and then it turns red, you could get in right there. And the stop loss goes above the previous pivot high of the green candle. It's a very simple setup. Okay, so it's like this. I'll show you. So entry is right here, right at that red candle. Stop loss is above that wick right there. There's your setup right there. Boom. You could trade that all day long. No problem. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being crazy. You're not being reckless. The only thing to watch out for is you have to recognize when the market is imbalanced. Okay. So I'm trying to teach you right now on the call. The imbalance is all of this right here. It shot way up. Okay. When this turns red, that's very significant, saying that it turned red. Okay. When there's a color change, that color will hold on for a little bit. So you can expect that that holding on of red is going to make it flush back down. Okay. So, and then we got another short right there that chopped up and was a loser. Okay. Same thing right here. I wouldn't, this was already like way later in the day, but this would have been one of those same thing. You could have traded down on that manipulation zone. And then you can see right now it's Asia, the market's slow, and we have some little bullish lines right there, right? So if you do the math on just the manipulation lines, you have about, it depends. Like if you're a total newbie and you don't know anything about rebalancing or trading the opposite side of manipulation lines, then you can call it 7 and 7 for the day. 7 wins, 7 losses, which you would have ended at 7R profit, right? Because each win is twice as big as the loss. So you still would have went up twice as much as what you lost. If you understand imbalances and you know how to take those trades, then obviously you would have been super profitable. So this is for those of you that don't have the software. I know we have people on the call. You don't own the software. This is non-repainting. I just went through every single trade today and showed you how they get traded. I've yet to see a losing day with the software. Every day is profitable as long as you stick to the system. Okay. And then we have the same thing happening on US 30. We haven't talked about US 30 a lot at all, but US 30 has been crushing it with the software. I haven't traded US 30 in a long time because it was just so ridiculously choppy. Like you get like stuff like this where it's like whether you're buying or selling, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. But the software has actually been performing very, very good on US 30, very impressively good. And then gold, lastly, gold. Gold went through some chop. I actually dealt with some chop myself this morning. Going through some choppy trades. I think, where are we at? Let me look at the clock here real quick. Let me look at, okay, that was last night. So where was I? I think I was, yeah, somewhere around here. I got chopped up on a few trades where I had really tight stop losses. I got chopped up on some of these manipulation lines, but my stops were just probably too tight because like you could see right here, price never came back. This one did go up. That's kind of iffy right there, but it ended up flushing down and then never came back. Ah, here it is. This is the one that I lost right here. I got in on this candle closure right here, and then it went up and I closed it. And then it came right back down. I was showing my wife, I'm like, look it, dang it. Oh, I had to close it, knowing that it was probably gonna flush back down. Right. It was another one of those moments. And then I just kind of waited. And then we started to get some really smooth price action. I caught some of this move down right here. You could see this is a winner, 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 winner. It was just like back to back, boom, 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 boom. Now on the software, guys, if you get into this trade right here, as price goes down and creates new manipulation zones, you can trail your position. Okay, so it would look like this. Let's say here's your entry. All right. And this is what your setup would look like. So that's your entry, and then that's your stop, like that. Okay. This is really what it would look like. As price comes down, if you want to trail, as new manipulation zones get created, you could take your stop loss from here and move it down and start trailing as those get created. So you could move your stop loss there to where now you're guaranteed profit. Then when these ones form, you could move your stop loss to that one. And then when these ones form, you could move your stop loss down to that one there. And then when this one forms, you can move your stop loss down to there. Okay, so very realistic. This could have been a very simple trade that you could have caught today. And that right there is a 3.75 RR right there. Very, very simple. Just taking the manipulation zone after you get one nice candle closure away from the zone, put your stop up there, very straightforward. And then as price forms, you just move your stops down. Okay. And you can see you got a nice buy right there. Obviously, overall, gold was also very profitable today, even through some of the chop. I got caught up in the chop, but overall, it was profitable if you were consistent. Okay. Again, you have this nice imbalance push up to green, and then this nice imbalance push back down, back into red. So now let me take a quick look at the chats, and then I'm going to go through some of the settings and just explain a few things to you guys. Okay. Let's see here. Nadine. Nadine, is your username on Discord Nads? Are you the one? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. Good to know. I didn't know your full name. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'll definitely go through the settings right now. I'm going to show you guys a few things. Let's see. I'm just reading the chat here real quick. Yeah, okay. So I see Jesse gave you the right instructions. Yeah, if you don't have the dotted manipulation lines, then just go back into Discord and just reload the template, because that's all this is. I'm not using anything different than what the template provides. So now some of you guys were asking about some of the other settings. Let me show you guys this, which, hey, by the way, guys, let's say kudos to AIO. It was another very profitable day. You have a powerful software in your hands that can help you have a consistently winning strategy with zero analysis. And on every entry, you're getting alerted. You know where to put your stop loss. And then you just got to have your trading plan on what kind of take profit you want to have. Do you want it to be a simple, straightforward risk to reward, like a 1 to 2, 1 to 4? Or do you want to trail and try to maximize by following the trailing lines with the other manipulation zones? Or you could hold on to the trade until the candles change color, right? Like if you get in on the red candle, you could hold until it turns green. That's also a very good strategy. Get in right here when it turns green. You could close as soon as it starts turning red, right? There's different ways, but it's pretty much as thorough and as complete as you can get. Now, I'll show you what I have turned on in the software. This is on the template. So I'm using this special candle color setting. I have it turned on. Okay, 1 minute with a structure sensitivity of 1 with this box checked wicks, right? This is in the pre-save template. I have this turned on. And then look at how many things I'm skipping because I have so much of this automated. I have my manipulation lines down here under where it says manipulation filter. I have these turned on, and those are my colors. Green on the left boxes, red on the right, to make sure that it's always showing me what the bearish side and what the bullish side is of the zone. I have this box turned on, enable alerts on the manipulation lines. So very important, what you have to do is make sure that box is checked on. Then after checking that box, go set up your alert, okay, to get alerts. And then other than that, these are the 4 options I have checked on the manipulation lines. I have this match additional channel filter. We just added that a couple weeks ago. Super powerful. It really improved the win rate in the software. I have these 2 right here where we only show lines that have higher opens than previous lines for longs, and then opens that are shorter or lower, shorts that are lower than the previous shorts. That means that the lines you see, you're not seeing every manipulation zone. You're only seeing the ones that are following the pattern of higher high and lower high for shorts, which is really cool. That's what builds that step ladder pattern on the chart where that allows you to trail. It's because of this. We're saying only show manipulation lines in order of height and movement on the chart. That means if you're going to show me bearish lines, I want them moving in a cascading downward fashion. If that's not how price is moving, then don't show it. Think about how crazy amazing that is. You're forcing the software to only display the manipulation lines that are verified to be at a lower position on sells and at a higher position on buys. That means the market should be trending in those areas because it's already verified other levels that you can't see. Super cool. And then making sure that it aligns with the candle color trend. That's all I have turned on. That's it. That's everything. Now in the chat today, let me show you this real quick. So if you want to set up an alert, I know I see several of you saying that your gold alerts are not working. Let me show you how to double check your gold alerts. So in the top right here on the desktop for TradingView, I click on that. I'm going to delete my gold alert, okay, because it's currently active. Look, I'm going to delete it. Okay, delete. Now I don't have any gold alerts. Now I want to set up an alert. The most important thing is make sure in your settings with the AIO, make sure before you set up the alert, you got to make sure that this box is checked right here. Underneath the manipulation filter, where it says enable alerts on manipulation lines. That way it alerts your phone and alerts your desktop when the manipulation lines appear so that you could be ready to take the trade. So make sure that box is checked. Then just create the alert. So I right click on the chart. I click right here, add alert. And then all I have to change are a few things right here. Condition, I choose AIO. Okay, that means alert me on AIO alerts. The next box right here, I choose the bottom option, alert function calls only. And that's it. Okay, and then you could give it a name. So for me, I just highlight all this, I erase all that, and I just call it gold. That's it. So when it hits my phone, it just says the word gold, right? And this tells you right here in the notification settings of the alert, what's going to be notified. It hits my phone because I have the mobile app. It also shows the notification on the desktop. That's called the toast notification, where it could also make a sound on your computer. You could have it send you an email. You could have it send the data to a third-party website. You could have it play an extra sound. You could send a text message to your phone. There's so much customization on what you want this to do. But other than that, that's it. I just All I did was I called it gold, and then I just chose AIO and alert function calls only, and then I just click create. Now watch, it's gonna pop up over here. Look at, and there you go. There's the gold alert. So now when manipulation lines appear, it should alert you. And that's super easy, guys. We will have another software update because my team did fix the momentum table to update in real time. Probably like tomorrow. I'm in no rush. All you have to do is just click the template again and just click save. It's the same link. It's no big deal. It'll take you 30 seconds. Okay, now some of the other settings that people were turning on in the chat. I saw chatter today on Discord. They were turning on stuff like this, the trend shift, where you could choose a different candle color and highlight those candles on when the trend is shifting. Okay, and this trend is based on up here, it's based on the candle color trend right here on your settings right here. So that's why you guys saw someone today that they have that purple candle turned on. You can make that any color you want. I don't have mine turned on. For me, I could see when it changes colors from red to green or green to red. I don't need to add a third color in there. That's just personal preference. And then if you click this button on right here, labels, that'll actually put labels at all the areas where the trend shifts color. And you could all, if you turn that on and then you create alerts, it'll alert you every time this happens. So that's like if you want to be alerted when the candle color changes, right? That could be another trading strategy, meaning when, but it could get kind of choppy, right? Meaning like right here, it turns green, it'll alert you. It turns back to red, it'll alert you. It turns back to green, it'll alert you. And some people are trading like that, and they're actually having a lot of success. So they're just following the table up here, and then they're just trading every time it turns that color. So like let's say this was green, then you trade on that green candle, that green candle, that green candle, and every time it turns red, you close the trade. And if that's red, you just do the opposite. Just trade on the red candles and then hold it until it turns green. That's a simple trading strategy that's very valid. It's a very good trading strategy. Some people are doing that. And then other than that, the only other thing I saw people turning on were these right here, the actual labels that people are calling them tags on the candles that are confirming the manipulation lines. You could turn that on if you want. I don't have mine turned on because for me, the manipulation lines are more of a zone, not a specific candle. That's why I don't have them defaulted to on, because I don't want people thinking that from that specific candle that created the manipulation line that you got to get into your trade, because sometimes that's not the right candle to get in on. You want to wait for the candle that closes away from the manipulation lines and then you get in. Okay, so look, if I turn this on, I'll show you what it looks like. Watch the chart. See these tags that are popping up on the chart, right? It's showing you the actual candle that closed that caused the manipulation lines to appear. But you see, like in this instance, I wouldn't get in on that candle. Even though the tag is right there, I wouldn't take that trade right there. Why? Because there's no candle closure back away from the lines. So I wouldn't get in right there. That's why I don't have these turned on. So, but you can have them on as long as you know how to trade the manipulation zones. I would trade either probably this candle right here or this candle. My entry would look more like this, right? So I would get the alert and my trade would look more like that, because what I'm looking for is a candle to close away from the manipulation zone back to the bullish side, and then you take the trade like that. That's a good trade, but you got to be careful. I wouldn't just, if you turn on those tags, I wouldn't just automatically trade those. And you could see, I mean, there's a lot of really good trades. Like this was great. This was great. This was great. This was great. Again, you know, it's very close to like the same candle that you're gonna want to get in on, but it's really early. It's like premature. So I guess if you choose to turn that setting on where you want to see the labels for the trend shift, I'm sorry, for the manipulation zones, I would use it to your advantage by when it hits your phone. If you add these, you have to go and recreate the alert to include that new addition of turning those on. But that can give you time to go and look at the chart. If you look at all of these tags, they give you an extra 5 to 10 minutes to prepare for a trade. So that's the advantage, right? Like for example, if it comes in here and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes before you take that trade on that candle that closes away from the lines, that could be an advantage, right? But I wouldn't just be taking the trade. So if that means if I got this alert here, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes after getting the alert to my phone to prepare to take the trade. Okay, that's how I would use that setting if I turned it on. But I don't have them turned on for me personally. But you could turn those on. It's down here under manipulation, right here where it says labels, and you could choose your own custom colors for that. All right, I'm gonna jump back into the chat real quick. So Nadine, I used the same settings for gold and NASDAQ. That was a huge upgrade and improvement that we made with this latest version of the software, is that it works dynamically on both instruments. It works really good on NASDAQ and gold. You don't need separate templates. The only time you need a different template is if you're going to trade higher time frames. We have a rule for higher time frame on you have to change a couple things in the software every time you move up to a higher time frame. Yeah, no problem, Jess. Humans are good at creating issues that don't exist, right? So, folks, you could probably hear it in my voice. I'm pretty tired. I got up at 4 in the morning today, and I've been going. I really have. I've been going for like the last 15, 16 hours. It's been a wonderful day. Super productive, learned lots, took tons of trades, learned more about our software. If you don't have the software, you're missing out. And I'm not just being a salesman. I've been trading every day for 5 years and I've used so many systems out there. And I don't think there's anything that even comes close to this. I'm blown away by the software. So you can go to our website, or if someone invited you here, ask them for their referral link. We have an affiliate program where people get paid for sharing the word about our software and helping other people get set up. But hey, with that being said, let me stop the recording here.
Recording stopped.
Super bien. Guys, thank you for jumping on live. I hope this was worth your time. Can some of you let me know in the chat if you learned something new tonight? If you saw something that you didn't know, or if you got some insights? I'll tell you this while you guys are answering that, it just comes down to trust. That's all it is, guys. Trust the system. Okay, we just released this new version this last weekend. Other than like aesthetic or performance updates, the strategy is not going to be changing. That means you are good to go, to trust the system. You could do what I'm doing. You can go through the risk to reward back testing every day and see that it's very profitable. Even if you get chopped up like I did today, I got chopped up. I had a few losing trades. No problem. Stick with it. Stick with it. And the day still turned out profitable for me, right? I haven't had, like, following the system, you won't have a losing day. I really don't think you can lose. That's a very bold statement because trading is full of losses, but you shouldn't have like a full losing day unless you just didn't have time to capitalize on all the opportunities that the software provided you with. So have a great evening, guys. Nadine, don't say that. Hey, I'm gonna challenge you to change the self-talk. And I know you're probably partly joking, but change the self-talk. Okay. You're gonna win. Trust the software. And congratulations to everyone that's taking action and learning and growing and learning to trust. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Blessings.